Salam and welcome to day 7 of Ramadan 2021. It is a gorgeous day outside today and I decided to take advantage of this beautiful weather. This marks the first week of Ramadan already done. I can't believe how quickly it's flown by. I really am enjoying this month though. I hope the same for you. On our dinner menu tonight we have chicken chow mein, seared whole pompano fish. I'm frying up some chana with bell peppers, also some Brussels sprouts that I'll be frying up in a pan. I'll also be baking a sponge cake. To continue on our series of the 99 names of Allah, the 3 names for today are: for the first name, Al-Latif. It means the all-subtle. He has knowledge of all things subtle and hidden. And for the second name, Al-Hakim. It means the all-wise. He is the Almighty and the All-Wise, and you can find this in Surah Ibrahim. And for the third name, Al-Wasi, it means the embracing. He embraces everything in mercy and knowledge. You can also find this in Surah Baqarah. This concludes our 3 names of the 99 names of Allah for tonight. I hope you enjoy your wonderful iftar, and I look forward to the second week of Ramadan. For my chow mein, I like to use Imam brand. I'm going to be adding some chicken into this. I already went ahead and grinded up my ginger, garlic, and red peppers. I have some parsley that I'm going to throw in towards the end, a half of an onion, some broccoli that I'm going to chop up into smaller pieces, 1 tomato, and a can of corn that I'm going to be adding into the chow mein. To get started on the chow mein, I'm pouring a couple of tablespoons of grapeseed oil into the pot, and then I'm going to add some onions into that. This is my grind up seasoning that I'm going to throw in and fry that down a little bit as well. Here I have some Chief Chow Mein seasoning. I'm going to add the whole packet because it's a lot of chicken, and I'm going to put about 1.5 pounds of chow mein. I let the seasonings fry for about 2 or 3 minutes to just have all of the flavors mixed in really well, and then I'm going to add the chicken. I added in the chicken. I'm going to give it a nice stir to make sure all of the pieces are coated. This will fry up for about 15 to 20 minutes on a medium heat. While the chicken is cooking, I'm going to turn the pot filler on to make sure that I boil the water so that the chow mein will be done around the same time as the chicken and it can all be mixed in together. I'm going to add in a sprinkle of salt, about 1/2 teaspoon. And what I like to do is I like to take the chow mein bag and I cut it open. I like to break it up. And go ahead and just add the chow mein in. I'm going to lower my stove to very low heat and just let this boil down for about 11 to 12 minutes. The chicken's cooking really nice. I'm just going to add in some tomatoes and let that saute down. Next, I'm going to add in the broccoli. I'm going to throw in the corn now. The chow mein is finished boiling, so this will only take about another 2 minutes to just cook and mix in a little bit. And then I'm going to throw the chow mein in. The chow mein noodles are in. I went ahead and added the parsley on top of this, and I'm just going to give it a good mix so that I can get it nicely coated with all those nice seasonings. And this is what my chow mein looks like. For dessert, we're going to be making a simple sponge cake. My ingredients I have are 1 stick of unsalted butter at room temperature. I have 2/3 of a cup of sugar, 1 cup of all-purpose flour that I sifted, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I'm going to be using 4 eggs that I'll be putting in 1 at a time to mix in well, a pinch of salt, and I'm going to be adding in a teaspoon of vanilla essence. So I'm going to add in the butter, and to it I'm going to throw in the sugar and let this mix up really well for a good 8 to 10 minutes until it's nice and fluffy. Okay, so I'm going to give this a good scrape down the edges, and I'm going to add in the eggs 1 at a time. Here's the first egg. And that's the 4th egg. Now I'm going to add in the flour a little bit at a time so that it can get incorporated with the wet mix. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scrape down the sides to make sure that I get all the dry flour out of there. I'm gonna throw in the vanilla essence, about 1 teaspoon. Let that mix for about another 10 minutes and then our cake will be ready to bake. I'm using a 7-inch bundt pan. I generously sprayed it with some nonstick spray and I'm gonna add the cake batter. So when you add your cake batter in, just kind of shift it around and make sure that the batter is all even in there. You don't want it to bake lumpy on one side versus the other. So that's what it looks like, and I'm gonna go ahead and bake this at 350 degrees for 40 minutes. So this is the result of the cake that I baked. This is a beautiful bundt cake that was a simple sponge and very, very easy to make. This is a recipe that my mom used to make, and she was one of the best bakers. So I hope I'm doing her justice with this. So the kids requested chana to break their fast, so I'm going to be frying up some chana. It's regular canned chana. I didn't have time to soak chana overnight because they literally asked me for it today. So I poured about 3 tablespoons of grapeseed oil into the pan, and I'm going to fry the onions, garlic, and the pepper, about 2 cherry peppers, and then I'm going to add the chana in. So I'm going to add the chana in, sprinkle in salt to taste. I have these frozen bell peppers. I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle it on as well. I like to add in some turmeric, so I'm going to sprinkle some on, and also some jeera to give it that nice cumin flavor. So the chana is almost done, so the last thing I do is just sprinkle on the juice of a lime, and that's it. Chana is done. Chana good for you, but it's so colorful and pretty. For my next dish, I'm going to saute some Brussels sprouts. It's hands down my favorite vegetable. I'm going to throw in the oil with some garlic, and I'm going to let that garlic saute. And I'm going to also put in 1 tablespoon of butter. So I'm going to add the juice of 1 lime. And the lime goes so good with the butter and the garlic. It's such a yummy smell. And what I like to do is I take my Brussels sprouts and I pre-chop them and I keep them in the refrigerator. But I like to chop them into little rounds. And I'll also flake out a couple of the Brussels sprouts. And then you can simply saute it down into here. All right, it's a beautiful day outside today, so I decided to come out and fry the fish. Here I have pompano that I basically washed and I cleaned it up really well. In here I have some grapeseed oil that's heating up, and the seasonings, I'm actually going to put it into the oil and then fry the fish in the oil, and that'll absorb all of the seasoning. So what I did was added in some curry powder, turmeric, garlic powder, salt, some black pepper, some paprika, and some za'atar spice. And I'm simply going to throw this into the oil and let that fry up. So mix it around like this. So I'm going to place each fish down in there. It's getting a nice sizzle. All 4 of these fish fit perfectly. Just going to give this a little bit of a stir. Make sure all those spices are getting under the fish. That'll cook for about 15 minutes on either side, and then it'll be all set. It's cooking so nicely. The skin on this is getting really nice and crispy, and it just smells wonderful. Look at that nice char on. This is what our table setting looks like for the evening. The sun is coming through, so it's an amazing glare. Look at that gorgeous fish. That beautiful cake. I can't wait to try that.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, Hayya ala salah, Hayya ala salah, Hayya ala falah. حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله آمين الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم يا الله سبحانه وتعالى accept our fasting Allah grant us the maximum benefits from our fasting our zakat our charity Allah give us health and strength guide us and put us on the straight path Ya Allah Forgive our parents who have passed away, Ya Allah. Grant them Jannatul Firdaus with us reckoning, Ya Allah. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minaz zalimin. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, la ilaha. Bismillah.
Right. What do you want me to do? Sign you out one? No? Okay. Thank you again so much for joining me on my iftar adventures. I really hope that you're enjoying my videos. If you want me to do more videos, please like, share, and click that subscribe button. Thanks so much, and salam.